Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. Between running around trying to get the birdhouse done for Scoutcrafters Birdhouse Challenge and all the other things that I got going, I totally forgot about the last trip that I made to the estate sale. So they set the bag. I was working on the Poland, and the Poland has torque screws in it. And this one just happens to be a T15. This is a T11. And I found a couple other things. Can always use 3-cornered files. A 50-cent 3-cornered file is always a deal. And this is a deburring tool. Now it doesn't have any extra tool heads in it. It normally comes with a bunch of extra bits, but I'm happy to get this for a couple of bucks. This is nice for going in and deburring the insides of holes. You can also do the outsides of things, like that. The inside of a little hole like this one. Works pretty good. Used to use these a lot with making dies. On the same trip, I found 2 of these. Now these are, well, this one is looks like it's made for the Canadian market because it has French and English. From the makers of vice grip tools, de fabricant. I can't speak French, so anyways. Means the same thing as from the maker of vice grip tools. Cost $2. This one costs $4. It's a lot bigger. Needs to be cleaned up. It's not rust, it's primer. So evidently somebody used this when they were painting something. And it says it's a 12-inch or 305 millimeter. This little guy says made in USA, US Patent Office. Doesn't have a size on it. It opens up overall to 6 3/4 inches. Now, while I was making the birdhouse for the Birdhouse Challenge and doing other things, you remember I got a splinter in my arm from the pallet. Well, I used one of the pallet boards in the Birdhouse Challenge birdhouse as a backer for the door. And then I thought, well, I wonder if I could use up some of those boards. So I came up with a little pattern that I could cut out on the DeWalt miter saw in a heck of a hurry. And it just takes these sides of the same length as this across the bevel here. This is the same width as that. So I was able to cut this board, this board, this board, all out of the same piece of wood. And then this is just a little piece of offcut that fits in the bottom perfectly. The only thing I had to do on this was trim down one side just a little bit so that it made an even peak. Little glue, rustic birdhouse. Now, I did have a suggestion made that I should sand it down so I don't get any more splinters from these boards. They seem to have an adverse effect on me. Now, when I'm doing test assemblies, I like to filled with green tape. Means that I don't have to spend a lot of time doing anything other than just sticking them together. Then when I go to glue it, I just put glue in the joint, fold it up like that. It takes 4 times longer with a camera running. You know how that is. I've got a roof. Walls are pretty much the same thing. Two clamps. And in about 2 hours you got one of these. Of course, the 2 hours you can be doing something else. So, that's catching up on some of the side projects that I had going. Nothing exciting, but I'm going to put this in with the Poland and the box that the Poland came with. And this one just goes on the shelf, so I'll have an extra. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I'd read them all. Thanks for watching. This video is not to be viewed by anyone under the age of 13 in the U.S. or 16 in the European Union, without the express written permission of the parents or legal guardians of the underage person. Such written permission must be on file at the local government entity in charge of enforcing the rules and regulations established by the FTC. Anyone violating these terms is admitting by default that they hold harmless the owners and operators of this channel. Any and all questions should be addressed to your local branch of the FTC.